Wait. While you're exporting,
I think we're starting. We're starting now.
All right, time to go. All the best, Hart.
Thanks, Kanish. Guys, Kanish works on a cross with me, so he gives really kind intros, which I like. All right, I appreciate that. All right, y'all. I'm Hart Lambur. I'm the founder of Across Protocol. I also work on UMA Protocol, but that's for another day. And we're here to talk about how we prevent stablecoins from sucking in terms of moving them between blockchains and between stablecoins. So I actually want to start with just a flashback here to 2 years ago. And I'll share some of the slides I gave at DevCon in Bangkok, where I gave a talk called Unifying Ethereum with Intents in ERC 7683. This was pretty well received, and this is a time where people still weren't sure how to do bridging in Ethereum. But the problem we really lasered in on 2 years ago was how fragmented Ethereum was. We started solving scalability with all these L2s and different blockchains, which gave us lots of free and cheap block space, but it fragmented the user experience massively. And the example here is like you go back to this simpler time, like DeFi summer 2020. Ethereum was simple. You had one wallet, you sent money from that wallet. It's great. Life was easy. And then we added like a gazillion different blockchains. And that gave you a gazillion different networks, and it gave you like 12 different versions of Ethereum, right? And it's just a total mess. And this is the argument that like, look, this is not going to scale. This is not going to be the way people use crypto or use our technology, particularly the next billion people. And we needed to unify Ethereum and make it feel like one network again. So this is the prettier slide that our designer Lucas made, but blockchains grew with fragmentation. That's how we made block space cheap. More fragmentation, cheaper block space, horrible user experience. And the idea was we needed to unify Ethereum. So 2 years ago, we did this by saying, hey, we need to abstract interoperability and make there be a 2-second experience moving assets between any two blockchains. And instead of it being this old bridging experience where it's like the user finds some bridge, has some pool, they wait a bunch of time, stuff shows up on the other side, like that didn't work. Instead, we promoted this intent-based architecture where a user declares their intent, here's what I want to do, and a network of solvers competes to go and fill them, and the user gets filled in 2 seconds and move on with their day. And in this time, Across has processed 35 billion in volume, 15 million transactions, 3 million users, lots of good stats, lots of stuff that's worked. And and the Intents architecture really has made Ethereum feel like more like one network again. But we're like doing this all over again. Dollars are now fragmenting here. And I find this almost comical. So I literally took my same slides from 2 years ago and just changed the word like blockchains to dollars. So dollars were simple back in the day. You had $1 of USDC or USDT, maybe there are two of them, and you could move that around. But now we have a lot of dollars, like a lot of dollars. Circle and Tether, sure, they're great. Paxos, PyUSD, MetaMask's MUSD, Phantom Cash, Revolut's got a stablecoin, Klarna's got a stablecoin. Genius Act made it so everyone wants their own stablecoin, which we can talk about the pros and cons of this later, but that's happening. And it's like, I think it's great. I'm here for it. But we went from having like $1 to now 300 different types of dollars. And you got to swap between them. We'll talk about this problem too. But now I'm going between $A and $B. They're both supposed to be $1, but I'm swapping between them, which seems crazy. And then I have this like wallet where I've got my dollars splintered and fragmented between many different stablecoins across many different chains. And this feels hard. This feels like a bad user experience. So I just replicated my slides from 2 years ago, and it's the same conclusion. It's a mess. Now, what is the solution? In the same way, we wanted to use this intent-based architecture and have this solver network compete to do user actions for you, abstract away what the user wants to do with this intent. We can have the same solver network compete to abstract away dollars so that your dollars all feel the same everywhere. And so, again, the way we are pushing across forward is now it's not just about unifying blockchains, it's about unifying dollars, unifying stablecoins to make this be a seamless experience. So, going to the prettier slides, this is today's graphics, not from 2 years ago. The stablecoins, it's really the same problem, the same fragmentation problem, but potentially at a much bigger scale. The old landscape, you had two dominant stablecoins, and we'll talk about the kind of duopoly effects of those two dominant stablecoins. We had those exist. Now we have a ton, and I think a really like a long tail of stablecoins coming into existence for reasons that make economic sense to their issuers. If you are a fintech business that has money at rest, it simply makes sense for you to to launch a stablecoin and capture yield on those funds that you otherwise wouldn't. And we're seeing crazy growth, both in the volume for stablecoin settlements and in their total TVL. I mean, most recent number, 46 trillion in annual settlement, numbers that truly are rivaling Visa's network and the like. But like, look at this experience, right? You go and you move $1,000 from one stablecoin to another, and you end up with $995 on the other side. It's like, sorry guys, this does not work. We're not going to get normies being okay with this. Not when I can like Venmo or use PayPal to send my friends $1,000 and they get $1,000. This is not an acceptable experience. And it's confusing and it's costly. So this is basically what we like to call like a fragmentation tax. And this fragmentation tax is going to be a hindrance to adoption. The solution, feels pretty obvious. Make $1,000 be $1,000. Make $1 equal $1. Make bridging free. It's got to be fast, but make it free too. And we can do this. So one of the things that Across launched late last year, Native Markets has the USDH stablecoin. For those of you that aren't yet Hyperliquid pilled, USDH is the sort of enshrined stablecoin on Hyperliquid that Native Markets has launched and created. And we built out flows with them where you can bridge USDC and soon USDT, but you can bridge other stablecoins into USDH one-to-one. You can bridge $1, you can bridge $1 million. Soon you'll be able to bridge $10 million. But you can bridge that money one-to-one into the USDH stablecoin. No fragmentation tax to the user. And for us, this is a real product. It's live. It's in production. It's working great. But it's also a proof of concept about what this kind of onboarding experience should be like. And something that I think is semi-critical to the onboarding experiences of other stables. So what's our model here for stablecoin growth? We can really lump this into like three categories. What we want the stablecoin issuers, what we think they should do, what we think the ecosystems, the apps, the L2s, the different chain ecosystems, and what I think users demand. And to dive deeper on that, so if you're a stablecoin issuer, you make money off of TVL. You want interest on your funds. To me, you want to make it as easy as possible to get TVL of your coin into your stable. And that's what Native Market's doing. Like we're going to pay the onboarding costs for users. We want them to come into USDH. And I think this is going to become table stakes for all the other issuers. They're going to require free onboarding into your stablecoin to help you grow. We just remove barriers to entry. For an app or ecosystem or L2 chain, you fundamentally want users and assets in your ecosystem. So if you're Coinbase, if you're running Base, you want to make it free to get money into Base. If you're running Hyperliquid, you want to make it free to get money into Hyperliquid for users to use your app. If running Lighter, very much the same thing. They want to make it free to get dollars into your Lighter account. And anything where you're taxing the user in that onboarding flow is just hurting your business. It's cutting off your own conversion. So again, another reason, another place where we think like dollar in equals dollar out feels important. And then of course for users, just to fill out the blanks, users want fungibility. They don't want a world where they have a gazillion different dollars. They want it to feel like one thing, one abstracted thing. And you have, the U.S. government through the Genius Act putting financial regulations in place that make the risks of these dollars all at least approximately equal. So this feels like something that users should demand. So the way I look at this is the next year or two is going to be really interesting as we see whether the duopoly of Tether and Circle persists or we have a long tail of stablecoins flourish. And the way I look at this is there is this fragmentation tax. There is this fragmentation when you have all these stablecoins, there's more work moving between them. But there's also benefits of having all these stablecoins. You have more competition. You're going to have just less of a duopoly between two issuers. And I think the world, I think the world of stablecoins in general is net good for the world. Like the world where path we're on with Tether and Circle being the two dominant stablecoins is still far better than before we had them. But I do think the optimal outcome is a world where we have many, many stablecoins competing for your business, competing for your assets, competing for your dollars. And in order for all of those stablecoins to ultimately exist, it's got to be worth the user onboarding fragmentation for them to issue their own stablecoin. Otherwise, they're just going to go and use like Circle. So I look at this, I call it like the power law distribution of stablecoins. Right now, we've got Tether and Circle and then a bunch of long tail folks. And I'm curious if that power law distribution is going to flatten. So the long tail grows relative to the two big guys. And if it does, it means that the advantages of these long tail stablecoins are working, that they're offering enough reasons for users to hold them, that they are willing to spread their interest, spread their money between this longer tail of stablecoins. And if it doesn't work, and if it stays steep, we're still in a world where we still have two stablecoins that serve us well. But I think it's not like it's not going to achieve the full picture of what we can do here. I think it's not going to be as vibrant or as innovative as we can. And I look at this really as like a Cross's job now, where can we solve the fragmentation tax problem effectively enough such that it's worth launching your own stablecoin? So, yeah, what do we need to build here? This would be maybe the semi-pitch for Across and what we're doing. Just like what we did with native markets, we have this onboarding into USDH one-to-one. We think stablecoin issuers should do this all over the place. If you're going to launch a stablecoin, we think you should make it free and easy for your users to onboard into it. And that's something that we want to provide you with, a service we want to provide you with. I think this is also true for applications too. Again, we'll take the example of Lighter. We're at ETHDenver. Lighter, I think, is a super cool, custom L2 on top of Ethereum. Onboarding into Lighter should be free because Lighter makes money off of more users using their product. Why are we charging or harassing our users in our onboarding flow? And then finally, and I think that the hardest one for us to solve is if we're going to have all of these different stables, how do we abstract it within the wallet experience for the user? How do we make these things look like $1? And I think that's going to be interesting and potentially difficult challenge, but something that I think is going to be required to really make your dollars, unify your dollars, make them feel equivalent. So the Across rallying cry in 2026 is let's make $1 equal $1 again. And the direction we're pointing in is to just push this as far as we can to get $1 to equal $1 everywhere that Ethereum and crypto touches. Thanks very much. Yeah, I don't know can I take questions if I have a question? If anyone has a question. Yeah. The question was, if a dollar equals a dollar everywhere, how does a cross make money? Well, the person that benefits from that, their dollars should pay us. So I look at this as like, if you're a stablecoin issuer and you're making interest off of your dollars and we're helping you gather TVL, you should pay for that service. If you're a perp dex that is making money off of users having free onboarding, you should be willing to pay a cross to help with that. But good question and very much top of mind for me. All right. I think I got to wrap it up, but appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.